Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. What's up? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. Now, I've been getting a few comments lately about people saying, well, I haven't really been that consistent with my content. I guess I just felt like I maybe needed to explain myself to you guys a little bit. The truth is, I met a girl. You know what? I'm gonna actually introduce you guys. I hope this isn't awkward, but I want to share her with you because she is the light of my life right now. What do you think? Are things getting serious between us? Kinda. This thing's about to get way more powerful with the addition of the exhaust. So let me show you the first major modification that we're doing to this thing. These bikes don't need full aftermarket exhaust systems. You're gonna spend $2,000 or $3,000 on a full Apovic or similar exhaust system, and you're really not gaining any performance. The way that this is restricted is primarily through this breadbox, which is going to be our catalytic converters. It's also slowing down the expulsion of the gases coming, the spent gases coming from the engine, carbon monoxide, but then also we have this flapper valve that we have to deal with. Now that's something that I didn't have to deal with on the Z900, that we do have to deal with on this bike whenever we do exhaust. The good problem for us R1 owners is that we're getting, at least I believe I have titanium headers on this, but even if you don't have the titanium headers, you're still getting a very solid stainless header system. There's nothing inherent to titanium that makes it a better exhaust than a stainless exhaust. It's just done primarily for weight savings. If this is in fact titanium, then that's a huge score, and I'm not going to touch it because it's pretty much as good as it's going to get. So what we're going to do, and this is a really cheap option, you can get these. I chose to go with the M4. I think this one is black. I liked the idea of this being black to kind of blend in with all of this dark metal on the bottom side of the bike. And I'm actually going to use the stock OEM muffler to put back on this system, because there's nothing wrong with the muffler on this bike. Let me show it to you. I know it's really popular for people to talk about pipes and slip-ons, and everybody has the best exhaust and this and that, and honestly guys, I'm telling you straight, a large majority of these pipes are going to all perform the same. And when I say the same, I'm talking about like within a few percentage. The main thing that would affect performance on a bike like this is going to be a header system. It's already got headers, so we can't improve there. It's got this huge breadbox catalytic converter and servo that's blocking, so there's all this restriction in the middle, and then you have this unrestricted, wide open through pipe. We don't need to address this, and we don't need to address the headers. What we need to address is just that center section. I'm pretty sure these are built to order, so it's been about 2 weeks since I ordered this, and it just shipped, I think, 2 days ago. So just maybe anticipate like a little bit of a delay if you're ordering these parts. Okay, so we got a little manual. We've got some, looks like we've got a nice plug here to plug, that's probably one of our O2 sensor plugs. Oh, cool, and they even give us a little bit of instructions in here. That's something that you may not get from other manufacturers. Looks like we got some good clear instructions here. Talks about removing the stock slip-on, removing the O2 sensors, the valve and cables. That's the servo setup that we're talking about. Remove the stock cat. Nice welds. See, now I wanted to go with the black. They do have, I believe, just a stainless version of this. A very nice piece. This is well done. This is very nicely welded. Looks like we've got a couple of bungs and sensors up here. I'm not sure what we're going to do with those. And it looks like we have another sensor here. So we may have, this bike may have as many as 3 O2 sensors on it, but I haven't been underneath this engine yet, so we'll start digging around under there and we'll figure this out. See, this is all what stainless looks like. There's a little bit of coloration, mostly like a silver and a copper coloration. Well, let me bring you over to the headers. That is the color that titanium turns when it's heated. I've run a lot of stainless exhausts. I've never had that dark of a blue come popping out on a stainless system, but I've been told numerous times that the 20 and up bikes, including the 23s, do not come with titanium headers. Anyway, I thought that was really interesting, but I do believe I have titanium headers on this bike, so I'm curious what you guys think about that. First thing I'm going to do Just take off these heat guards down here. These are 5 millimeters. Good. Now that's going to reveal some access here to some actual bolts under here. Is this titanium? It must be, right? That's all I can think. I mean, this is what stainless looks like when it gets color and heat. You know, there's maybe a little bit of gray, maybe a little bit of orange in there, but you can see there's really no blue here the way that we have blue here. So that's what makes me think this might be titanium. Seems like it's way harder to loosen than it ought to be. Same thing on this side. We'll get rid of this heat shroud. To put these together, did not want that to come apart ever. Okay, that's better. While we're under here, if we look at the back part of this, there's another heat shield here, which we're going to remove. Now, these are the smaller 4 millimeters back on this one. Okay, so this reveals the little flapper valve I was telling you guys about. There's a little servo that controls this flapper valve that reduces sound and it also reduces emissions. So what we're replacing here is from the header back, this whole section, right to where the pipe slips on. So I'm just going to loosen our stock muffler here. Looks like that's just a band clamp that holds the muffler on. This one is a 6 millimeter, as is the hanger that holds the main bread box on is 6 millimeter. So I'll just take that off. Now this is my point here, guys. Why are you going to spend $600 on the same can? Okay, it's just, all it is, guys, is a through tube, an outer tube, and then it's packed with fiberglass. That's how every through muffler works like this. The reason I was having so much trouble with these clamps here is whoever tightened these over-tightened them because they tighten them so much they cross-threaded trying to back them off. These are going to be 17 millimeter and they're not over-tightened, thank goodness. Okay, that's just a one turn. I thought it was an individual piece because of that crease right there. But it's not. This whole fairing is one piece. That's just to give me a little bit better access to the hanger, which is right. Yeah, there it is. You don't have to take both out. You could just take this one out, lift it up a little bit, and that'll give you access to that hanger. There it goes. We have another bracket up here. That's a lot of brackets, man. I'm gonna hold the brake down while I crack this one loose. There we go. Now it's loose. Now the last thing in order to fully remove this is we do have to disconnect our little flapper valve here. So this should just be as easy as loosening these nuts here. The ones on the back side here can't be loosened because they're actually locked in here, so we're only loosening the ones on the front side. They look to me like they're 10 millimeters, so I would assume, unless otherwise stated, these are 10 millimeters. The attention to detail on this bike is really very, very good, I think. Example of that would be, look, they've used two different colors. They have a black and they have a silver down here. So if you were working on this bike and you meant to keep these, and let's say, gotta get this junk out of here, working on the bike, and you've got, these are just in some generic position, you don't know what goes where, well, they've color-coded them. The black is on the upside, on the top side, and the silver's on the bottom. Just small details like that. I mean, they really, you can see that there's a lot of thought that goes into these bikes. Go ahead and wiggle this guy loose. Try not to drop the brand new bike. Just keep wiggling. Oh my goodness, it's heavy. I was not expecting this thing to weigh that much. Now you can see that flapper. When that one's closed, we're bypassing it through this small channel, again for noise and emissions, and then when we need wide open throttle, you can see that flapper opens in there, and then it shuts. Okay, 16 pounds, so good chunk of weight here. We'll go ahead and get a weight on our new mid pipe. All right, new pipe is 3.5 pounds. All right, so real quick here, I'm just going to check this manual, make sure that we're doing everything as M4 intended it to be done. Remove the stock slip-on muffler, check. O2 sensors and valve cables, check. O2 sensor probe fitting attached to this unit. It is set up for an 18mm sensor probe that is supplied with most aftermarket fuel management systems. Okay, so if you're wanting to go to a full standalone ECU and tune the bike yourself, then they give you a location here on their pipe to be able to do just that and add. This is a combined O2 sensor, so you've got all 4 cylinders pumping O2 into this one sensor, whereas over here we have 2 that are split into one O2 sensor and 2 cylinders that are split into the other O2 sensor. Checking individual cylinders like that is always going to be a more accurate AFR reading than combining all cylinders under one O2 sensor. Either method works fine. So we don't need the stock clamps either. Set those apart. This thing is a great fit. We've got our washer on there. Get that snugged up first. That one is a 6mm. Now, what I like to do with these O2 sensors, especially with them already tied in, connected, I don't want to follow this wire up and I don't want to disconnect it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist it counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it was about 7 or 8 turns. So that's got this wire really bunched up and stressed out, and then as we thread it in, it will uncoil. And eventually it should go back to close to a neutral position. Good. These are some nice solid clamps that they're giving us here. I think I paid about $300. I think I paid like $280 for this mid pipe, or $290. I appreciate the fit and finish that Yamaha has on these bikes. I really do. Yeah, I like the black. At least this section of the pipe does match the swing arm, the rear sets, the frame. I just like that black in there. Yeah, so you can see this is removable. This is our seal here. They're usually made out of lead. What I'm going to do here is just yank this whole piece off. Just give it a tug and it'll come loose. And so you can see we've got our lead sealing ring, and we've got another little tension ring there, basically. This whole piece will then, yeah, should just slide right over the new one. Now, when we slide our factory, it'll just butt right up there, and then we'll use our band clamp. This slides into that location. So we are basically done with this. I've just got this one bolt here. That's it. I mean, guys, really easy. If I wasn't filming, this is a 30-minute install. There are some bikes, like that Z900, that are not so radically tuned that you can make some changes to the exhaust system and still have enough fuel in order to not damage the engine. The Yamaha R1, I do not believe, is that bike. Now, even though the MT10 does use the CP4 engine, I need you guys to keep in mind that the CP4 that's in the MT10 is a detuned version of the CP4. They're the same engine with different cam profiles, slightly different things going on with them that allows a larger torque band in the middle, or on the very low side, and less up top. So I can't comment on those, although if it were me personally, I would not run any CP4 engine without a tune. If you're doing exhaust. There are some bikes that you can get away with changing exhaust and they will compensate fueling well enough to not damage the engines. There's been a lot of reports of people doing exhausts and then their CP4s, particularly in their R1s, blowing up. What they're doing is they're cooking their head gaskets and basically ruining the internals of the engine. The reason you would lose a head gasket in an engine like this is because of heat, ignition, detonation, and a lean condition. The heat shouldn't be a problem unless you're running the bike too lean. So I strongly caution you, and this is very engine specific, there are a lot of bikes out there, I would tell you, mess with the exhaust, don't worry so much about your tune. This is not one of those bikes. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Wow. I knew it was going to get loud. I didn't think it was going to get that loud on idle. I figured it would be that loud, you know, when you're getting on it, but the amount of decibel increase just at idle is kind of sick. Are there any better sounding bikes than a CP4 crossplane? Seriously. There we go. That's what I needed. Okay, guys, this is why people buy an R1. I think these are the best sounding engines, period. Yeah, that front wheel wants to come up bad. Yeah, so my recommendation is just get the M4 pipe, and if you don't like the black, you can get it in stainless. I like the blank, and I'm probably going to look for some kind of black muffler I can put on it as well, just to kind of blend everything in together. So thanks for watching the video. Of course, we're going to have some more R1 content coming to the channel. I don't just do off-road, guys. I do motorsports because it's motorsports that ignites the fires of my heart. So thanks for watching. I'm Rick, and I'll see you guys in the next one.